welcome to Left, Right and Centre. I'm Nidhi Razdan. A Haryana government panel probing land deals in the state has hinted that Sonia Gandhi's son-in-law Robert Vadra is guilty of irregularities. Justice Dhingra, who headed the panel, says he's named everyone, whether private or government, who was involved in his 182-page report. The one-man Dhingra commission was set up by the BJP government in May last year, asked to probe controversial land deals in Haryana, including by Vadra's firm, Skylight Hospitalities. The Congress held a press conference this evening calling it a conspiracy, alleging that Robert Vadra was not even allowed to give his version of things before the commission, that he wasn't even summoned. So what happens next? Will this further damage the Congress politically? And will the Haryana government actually file an FIR now against Robert Vadra?
Justice Dhingra presenting his report to Haryana Chief Minister. The one-man commission set up by the BJP government after allegations that former Congress government headed by Bhupender Hooda illegally granted licenses and plots to firms in Gurgaon, including that of Mr. Vadra, the son-in-law of Congress President Sonia Gandhi.
My mandate was to inquire about irregularity in grant of license. Report, अगर irregularities नहीं होती तो मैं सिर्फ एक sentence की report देता.
Investigating the deals for 15 months, Justice Dhingra didn't call either Robert Vadra or the bureaucrat who investigated and accused him of wrongdoing, Ashok Khemka. So what did Khemka allege? At the center of his investigation was a 3.5-acre plot bought by Vadra in Gurgaon in 2008 for 7.5 crores. Just a few months later, he sold that plot to one of India's largest real estate companies, DLF, for 58 crore rupees. Khemka alleges Vadra falsified documents. It was a sham sale. Vadra's firm issued fictitious checks and the land registration was false. He says the land scam is between 20,000 crore and 3.5 lakh crore.
I have named each and every person who is responsible.
Sir,
So when you
Whether private or government. Report एक छोटे से aspect को लेकर ये report विस्तृत report है. I have probed irregularities in grant of license. अशोक खेमका को बुलाना होता तो मैं बुला लेता.
we gave full and complete cooperation to Justice Dhingra.
Justice Dhingra didn't name anyone, but sources have told NDTV that the Dhingra Commission has indicted former CM Hooda for acting contrary to law. Land development licenses were given in ad hoc way. He has recommended action against several officials for acting contrary to law. He has also recommended action against private persons who have connived with government officials who acted contrary to law. The Congress has claimed that the probe is biased and called it a witch hunt.
This reflects the malintent and a sinister conspiracy of government of Haryana, of top leadership of BJP. Where is the question of any preferential treatment?
ये साबित होती है कि ये कमीशन का जो इंस्टीट्यूशन ऑफ कमीशन जो था वो पॉलिटिकल मोटिवेटेड था.
The report could also end up being a bit of a hot potato for the Khattar government as well. Sources tell us that some of the officials who have been named in this report perhaps also continue in the Khattar government as well. It's now going to be up to the present government as to when and how to take action, whether to wait it out and table the report in the assembly or initiate action against those who have been named in the report. With Sunil Prabhu and Sandeep Phukkan in Delhi, in Chandigarh with Ashwani Behra, Siddharth Pandey for NDTV.
Joining us on the program tonight, Dr. Abhishek Singhvi from the Congress Party, Nalin Kohli, spokesperson of the BJP, Mr. Yogendra Yadav is with us tonight, and Aarti Jairath here in the studio with us. Nalin Kohli, to you first. Actually, Justice Dhingra didn't say much in his press conference. It was more in a way of, hinting at who could be involved without getting into specifics. But if indeed Robert Vadra has been named in this report, can we expect an FIR against him?
Well, I mean, let the report first come out. It's up to the government to make it public. That's the normal procedure. And for us to start talking about possibilities is not correct. First, we have to be certain what are the names. Now, Mr. Justice Dhingra has in any case clearly indicated that private and those who are in the government have been named. He has pointed out to the fact that a 182-page report wouldn't have been required if everything was clean. He has given it in two parts. One part is the findings and the second part is the evidence. So he has done a thorough job in terms of what he has given out to the media. Now the government will decide the next course of action. With regard to the Congress party, I find it strange that, they have been trouncing everything from the day one. They call for judicial commissions. They call for reports to be done, investigations to be done by sitting judges. Every second day, a spokesperson of the Congress party demands it. When something is done, they call it malafide. They say this is politically motivated. So I think, perhaps the Congress party is worried that what was in the public space and domain over the last few years, maybe there was substance to it, and now they realize that substance will come out in a more organized manner in terms of findings and evidence.
My question to you, Dr. Singhvi, then is that the Congress has held this this big press conference, going all out in its attack on the BJP and indeed the Commission itself. But we don't even know if Robert Vadra is actually named in the report. Is the Congress sounding a little defensive today? How do you know he's in the report?
Two or three things, Nidhi. First and foremost, I'm sure there would have been a caveat that none of us has the report, and what we do have are inspired selective leaks which have been coming for the last few days and weeks and would keep coming now, which appears to be the very perfected style of several BJP state governments and other governments. So we have reserved, as far as I know, the press conference person who took it today has reserved the right to speak more elaborately when we get copies. But I want to raise just two very quick questions on what you said, Nidhi. I want to understand, how is it possible that Mr. Justice Dhingra could, and I of course agree with you that I will have to see the report. I am asking you a very simple question. How is it possible that Justice Dhingra could have named Robert Vadra when, as far as I know, he has not been summoned? And even assuming that he was sent any summons, the simple point in law established by a catena of judgments from L.K. Advani and Kiran Bedi, those are names of the cases, not the human beings, that without an 8B notice, 8 capital B notice, which says that, look, I am sending this notice to you, Ms. Nidhi Razdan, I intend to go into inquiry against you, and it's possible that I may hold something prejudicial to you, so this is a notice for you to participate if you want. That's called an 8B notice. Now, it is common ground from everybody that no 8B notice was issued as far as Vadra is concerned by the Dhingra Commission. So, how can A, any prejudicial observation in the nature of a finding be made against him? B, any such finding or observation which we yet have to see is on the face of it void, inoperative in law. It's decided by 10 Supreme Court judgments, and I give you the names, L.K. Advani, Kiran Bedi, etc. And third, it cannot be the basis of any further action. So I don't know how we are getting
So you're
into all
saying he
kinds
was
of,
never issued any summons
expostulations.
to give his side of the story. However, let me just say, Dr. Singhvi, that we are hearing that a questionnaire was sent
there's one thing.
to his company, Skylight Hospitalities.
Exactly.
Are you saying that was that questionnaire also not
You're right.
received? Is that not
You are
enough?
right.
Or are you saying
No,
8B is compulsory?
Point. That makes my point. Exactly. That's the point. I'm glad you have now spent a little bit of time, because some of these discussions don't go into depth. A, Vadra was sent no summons, company is somebody else. B, neither company nor Vadra was sent an 8B notice. An 8B notice is not the summons we're talking about.
Nalin, I'll get Nalin Kohli to
It's a
respond before I
separate
come to you.
standard. One second. No,
because as a
Nidhi,
lawyer,
half a second.
Yeah.
Half a second. It should not be dismissed as something technical. The whole object is that before I intend to observe something against you, I must give you a fair chance of full response.
Nalin,
to
is
an
that a
8B
fair
notice.
point?
No, it is
Nalin,
admitted.
you're a lawyer
I'll answer
too.
that.
You're a lawyer
This may
too.
take a couple of sentences because,
Sure.
it requires an elaborate answer, but I'll try to make it brief. First of all is, the talk that Dr. Singhvi is saying about selective leaks and the BJP has mastered it. The detail with which he is responding, I'm wondering whether they have an advance copy of it, and therefore this presumption of worry that there is something in there which is prejudicial to their so-called future client. He's an eminent lawyer, there's no doubt about it, a senior advocate. So I'm sure his services might be in use, and therefore he's bringing the 8B point. But the question out here is, these are the options that would be available to everyone before a court of law. The Commission of Inquiry, if it prima facie asks for a questionnaire about a company in which you say Mr. Vadra Skylight Hospitalities was not involved in any way, then why are you worried? There's nothing to worry about. So why make this whole elaborate thing and bring a catena of judgments? I'm sure there are a catena of judgments that every side will bring before a court of law if there is something that's malafide or that's incorrect in law.
But the question is,
That has
if
happened.
an individual is named, Nalin,
So
if
therefore-
an individual has been named, and all Justice Dhingra says is that I have named
But is
every
he
person
named? Is
involved with
Dr.
a private
Singhvi
or
first
government, that
confirming?
individual,
The
I'm saying in
starting
due
is-
process, should that individual not get a chance to appear?
Right.
That's all.
So the starting is that Dr. Singhvi must confirm and place on record that yes, Mr. Robert Vadra is named, or the other alternative can safely be that Mr. Robert Vadra, against whom in the media this has been for so long, there is enough probably evidence there that is there, so we believe he has been named.
Do you believe that that's what's happened? I mean, is this Dhingra commission credible, do you believe? Or do we have to wait and see actually what the contents of the report are? Because none of us really know what's in it.
No, absolutely. But Nidhi, you know, this thing has become so politicized now, and you're absolutely right about it being a political football. Look, the fact that there were questions about the Skylight Hospitality land deal is well known, right? I mean, these questions have been there. There was a CAG report, there was a Khemka, you know, sort of, he cancelled the land deal actually, saying that there were irregularities. So, I mean, the fact that it needed to be probed is absolutely correct.
It's also strange that Ashok Khemka wasn't summoned before the Dhingra commission.
No, he wasn't. And, you know, not just that. Look, I mean, you know, the BJP came, they made Damad Shri, you know, a major motive of their 2014 campaign, right? They've been in power for 2.5 years. 2.5 years later, they are still not proceeding against Robert Vadra after
But they
making
can argue
him
that this Commission of Inquiry report has come
now. It
now.
took a whole year, Nidhi. I mean, surely it doesn't take a whole year if you're really keen on pursuing a case legally.
Commissions of inquiry have gone on for years and years
I know,
in other cases.
and because nobody has ever been interested in actually taking the case to closure and bringing people to justice. It becomes political. It just becomes a political football. And what you're seeing now is a media trial, which is what political parties love. The Congress did it when it was in power. The BJP is doing it now when it's in power. And this is how it carries on. You just go on
Nalin, do you want to take
innuendos and, you know, just
okay, Nalin, I'll take what
defaming
Aarti
people.
is saying to you. She believes that if the BJP had been serious about going after Robert Vadra, it would have done so earlier.
I think she has made a point that she herself then, you know, kind of rejects. She says a commission of inquiries go on for so long. Here's one which has done its job with a few extensions, but in a remarkably short period of time. It's a 182-page report. We know that for a fact. He has said that, yes, obviously there must be something there. I've named private and public individuals in there. He's saying that my report is in findings and evidence. He's a former judge. He's not somebody who's just picked up off the street. So, I mean, therefore, he's done a thorough job if something is done. Now, thereafter, what is to happen is the next thing. How is there this presumption? Just because the track record, and I agree with Aarti ji, that the track record has been so dismal with commissions of inquiries that perhaps she doesn't believe that there may be, you know, some light at the end of the day. But when it happens, we'll reserve our comments for that.
I can go back to Mr. Yogendra Yadav on this. Mr. Yadav, how do you see this Dhingra Commission of Inquiry? Do you believe it's become a sort of a political football between the Congress and the BJP? Are we ever going to get to the truth of these land deals? What do you think?
I've not seen the report as yet, probably no one has, but whatever we have seen so far, all I can say is, am I surprised? Am I surprised by the fact that there were huge irregularities? Frankly, the CLU scam of Haryana government during Congress regime was one of the worst kept secrets. This is an area near Gurgaon where the whole world knew how land were being used by the political regime to favor a few people. I really wish the commission's remit was not limited only to those 4 villages, that they had actually looked into the entire land scam, which would have brought into light some of the leading Congress leader of that time who are cabinet ministers today. So we would have known a little more about what they did and how they also gained from it. Am I surprised by the BJP reaction? Frankly not. Yes, there is a day for glee for them for what they have discovered. But I would take them more seriously if they were to do something similar in the case of Rajasthan, in the case of the deals, land deals, which were where Vijay Raje Scindia was connected to Mr. Lalit Modi's case. Am I surprised by the Congress's reaction? I'm afraid it's as pathetic as expected. I sincerely hope the Congress doesn't start treating Mr. Vadra as the son-in-law of the party. I thought here was an occasion the party could get rid of a lot of muck that it had collected over the years, but clearly it cannot.